My name is Gary Tost. I'm from a company called Canada SDS, and we actually provide the safety data sheet solution for Windsor Essex Catholic. And I will today be going through that solution for you and showing you the different features and functions and how you can find an SDS and print a label and those types of things. A couple of things with YouTube Live here. This is actually the first time I'm using it, so used to being in a room of people and interacting with them when doing a presentation and demo. So this is a new experience for me. But one of the things I've been told is there is a 10-second delay. So from anything I say to when you actually hear it, there's about a 10-second delay there. We do have the chat window, so if any questions, if you have any questions, please just type them in the chat window. Alex is monitoring that and will let me know, and I will go back and answer those questions. As I said, there is that 10-second delay, so if I've moved on a topic and I kind of go back a bit, I do apologize for that, but in essence, that question will be coming in a bit later just because of that delay and the way the YouTube Live technology works. So what I'll do is I'll just start from the beginning and how you can access the system. So to get to the SDS system, all you need to do is go to the Windsor Essex Catholic main website. And if you actually go to the staff entry here, you'll see there's an actual SDS menu item that you can select. So if you pick the SDS menu item and click on it, you'll actually get sent directly to the SDS search page. Now, if you are accessing this from within the Windsor Essex Catholic network, be it wireless or a hardwired computer, you will get directly to this search page. If you try to access this page from outside the network, so let's say at home or someone else gets to the website and clicks on the link, you're actually going to get to a screen that looks like this, which is a login screen. So without an actual login, you cannot access the system. So if you do have a requirement where you need access to the system when you're not connected to the school board's network, then please talk to Alex Ramos, and he can set up those logins for you. However, in a normal situation, you're in one of the schools and you click on that SDS link, you're going to get sent immediately to this search page. The Canada SDS system was really designed around trying to make finding SDSs as easy as possible and very much the Google experience. So I'm sure everyone is familiar with Google, and Google is what's called a full text search engine, which means it takes all the information, indexes it, and allows you to pretty much search on anything. And we've done the same thing with the safety data sheets, where we've indexed the entire safety data sheets, and we have a very robust search engine that lets you be able to find those. So with that, you can pretty much type anything into the search field and be able to find it. So I'll go through a number of different examples right now. I'm just going to hit the search right now, which will just give you all the results to kind of show you how a result page looks. No matter what device you connect this from, so on a desktop, obviously it would look like this. If you were on a tablet or a phone that you accessed it, the site is called what's called responsive. So as it gets smaller, you'll see everything kind of changes its size. This becomes what's called a hamburger menu to be able to access. So in essence, you can get this from a phone, or you can access it from a computer, and the interface will work and you'll be able to get to all the information that you need. We do support both languages, so you'll see up here you have English and French. If I click on French, the whole interface changes to French. If I go back to English, everything is on English. So from a search perspective, if you need to find anything, you can just type into the field. So if I, for example, wanted to try to find luminol, oops, if I could actually type and spell, I type luminol, you'll search, and you will find luminol as the answer. If you wanted to search for it by its CAS number, let's say, so I will type in 521-31-3, and you hit search, you'll see it's searching results of 521-31-3. It finds luminol. So whether you want to search by CAS number, UN number, name, friendly name, whatever it is, you can just type it into the search field and it will find it. Since it is a full text search engine, it also deals with different spellings and synonyms and so forth. So if I, for example, want to type look for sulfuric acid, and I actually spell it with a PH instead of an F, I could type I could type sulfuric acid, search, and we'll see that it finds it, and you'll see that sulfuric acid with an F is found, even though I spelt it with a PH in the search results. Even scientific specific terminology. So let's say I wanted to find a trihydrate. A lot of times trihydrate is actually spelt with a 3. So I could look for 3-hydrate or 3-hydrate, and you'll see that it will find things that have trihydrate in the name. Even though I typed it as 3-hydrate, it will find it as trihydrate. Again, since it is a Google-like search, it will also do what's called stemming when you're looking at a word. So if I, for example, want to look for something such as floor sealant, well, you'll see here that this is actually sealer. So the text engine actually looks as sealant and will find derivatives of that word, such as sealer and so forth, and will also bring up those responses. Even things such as synonyms. So let's say I want to search for baking soda, and I hit search. We'll see that it actually finds the Arm & Hammer baking soda, but it also finds sodium bicarbonate. So if someone didn't actually know that sodium bicarbonate was baking soda and they were searching for it, they may see sodium bicarbonate come up and say, oh, well, what's that? Well, we actually tell you that it's a synonym to baking soda. So we will find it. We will find synonyms, and we will show you that this particular item is a synonym, so that if something is in a search result, you're not wondering why it's there. Just like Google, all the items are ranked. So items that our algorithm will actually weight different things. So things like the friendly name or the name or certain sections of the SDS have higher weight if things are found in them than other sections. So although we may return a lot of results to help ensure that you find what you're looking for, just like Google, the items at the top are higher weighted than the items at the bottom of the list. In this particular case, they're all fairly similar weighted because they all matched on the name baking soda. So again, other things you can do in Google, you can do here. So if I was searching for glass cleaner, we'll see things that have glass and cleaner in them appear. But if I actually wanted the phrase glass cleaner as opposed to just those two words, I could put it in quotes, hit search, and we'll see that only things that have glass cleaner within them are found. Let's say I wanted to search for magnesium and didn't actually know how to spell it. I could just go mag star, and anything that starts with mag will actually appear in the result list. So again, in the same way that with Google, you just kind of type into the field, the same things can be done here. Another thing we do is that all the SDSs are tagged, and you're able to use those tags to help find things. So in the same way that people are used to tagging their pictures and searching on those tags, same type of concept. And those tags are actually found in advanced search. So if I go to advanced search, we'll see a number of different items that are available here. The top of the list are things that are built into the system that are available. So let's say I wanted to look for hazard types. So I wanted to find, I'll just make this star. So star is search for everything, and I want to know everything in the school board that is considered a health hazard. I can pick that, do a search, and we'll see I get a list of items, and there are 224 items within the school board that have a health hazard associated with it. I can remove that by just clicking on it and go back to advanced search. So I can search on any health hazards. I can search by language. I can also search manufacturers. So this is the list of manufacturers that are available within your school board. So not every manufacturer that we have in our system, which is a much larger list, but anything that is available here within your school board is listed here. So if I wanted to find all the let's say Bayer products, so I could click that and just hit search, and we'll see there's currently one Bayer SDS within the school board. So if I wanted, okay, I'll close that. So the ones below the line here are actually your school board specific tags. So everything has been grouped into custodial, maintenance, science, technology, visual arts, or general and office. So for example, if I wanted to find all the science chemicals within the school board, I could just select science, hit search, and we'll see that there are currently 642 results. I can also search within that. So if I wanted to find, let's say baking soda, or whatever, I could pick baking soda, and now I would find all the baking sodas that are tagged as science. So this really gives you the ability to kind of narrow things down and be able to find items hopefully quicker. Another thing you'll notice, I'll just remove this here. We have the baking soda. Now this is baking soda throughout the whole school board, so you'll see there's 3 results. Anytime that you do a search, you have the ability to actually print those out. So I can hit print, or I can export them. So if I wanted to export those results, I can just hit export, and actually I get a CSV file. So we'll just open that here in Microsoft Office, and we'll see that we get the name, the hazard types, tags, manufacturer, and last revision date. So a CSV file comes out with that information. So you can really do any search. I just won't save that. No, I don't want Excel anymore. Let me close that down. So you can do any search, and you're able to export or print those results out. Okay. So let's just get a bigger search result here. We'll just pick everything. So once I have search results, I can pick any product and be able to click on it and actually view that information. So if I wanted to look at butanol here from Thermo Fisher Scientific, I could click on butanol, and we'll see here that I get a view of that SDS. Now this is a custom view that we create that shows you all the information by section. You can kind of collapse those sections and look at the different information. You also have the ability to view the original SDS. So you'll see up here this SDS PDF button. At any time, you can click on that button, and you will actually get the original SDS document that came from the manufacturer itself. So within that view, you also have the ability to print labels. You can print out the SDS itself, or let's say you needed to print out a workplace label for that item. So I could click labels, and now you get the view that actually lets you create the label that you can print out. We currently support a number of different Avery label templates. So these are everything from 30 per page to 60 per page sticker labels. And If there are any that the school board uses that are not listed here, just let Alex know. We can add them into this system to allow you to print on them. But you have the ability to decide how that label looks. Previously, in the old WHMIS regulations, it had to be crosshatched, but now there is actually no requirement. So you can have it hidden. You could have, dash borders or so forth. Most people just are doing hidden where you don't have a border anymore. But you have the ability to, if you want to make the text a little bigger or smaller or so forth, you have that ability. And you also have the ability to decide what label to print on. So let's say I only need one. I could just highlight, maybe I have two bottles of it. I could highlight two of them. If I actually wanted to, let's say I have a sheet that I've used all the stickers but the last one. So I could just highlight the last one. And as soon as I hit print, I'm going to get a PDF ready version that I can print. So you'll see here that everything is blank, but the last one you can then put the label through the label sheet through the printer and print that item out. Some other things that can be done here. If you wanted to include the manufacturer, you could click manufacturer and the name will appear there. Everything resizes itself, so whether I change the label template or so forth, the system will resize to make sure it fits. We also have the ability to have a QR code. So if I click this QR code, you'll see that a little QR code will appear. I can make that QR code smaller if I want to try to have more size. But in essence, what happens is with any QR code reader on any device, you could just scan that QR code and you'll immediately get the SDS appear. So again, this is optional, but you have the ability to add that so that instead of going into the system and searching, just by scanning that QR code, you would immediately get to the SDS page for this particular item. And that's any standard QR code reader on any device whatsoever. So you also have the ability to print blank label templates. So if I select here, I can click blank workplace. So if I wanted just a blank template that I can fill out by hand, you can at any time just pick the blank workplace labels and you'll immediately get a blank sheet of stickers that you can print out. Again, I can go back to label template for this butanol and I get back to the butanol item here. So with that capability, obviously here you are printing out one product at a time, if you will. So if you, let's say you're doing inventory and you've got a number of products, it may be a little more difficult to go in and go to each one. So we actually have something called a batch printing mode. So if I go back to the search page, you'll see here in the top right-hand corner, there's something called label batch mode. So by label batch mode, by turning this on, what ends up happening is that I can add items to a label batch so that I can print out multiple ones at the same time. So let's say, here I could just be selecting a bunch, but if I actually wanted to, do something specific, so let's say from a science perspective, let's say I wanted to find reagent alcohol, so I could hit search, see that, so I can add that to the batch, and you'll see at the top here I have label batch, so I have one item attached to it, and maybe I also have some hydrochloric acid. So I can search for hydrochloric acid, and I can add that to the batch, and then I've got some GAR, so I search for that. I add that to the batch. So now I can at any point in time click label batch, and we'll see now that I have all these 3 items, and maybe I've got, 3 bottles of this and 2 of that and 5 of these. And so we'll see we're up to 10 labels right now. And I can set the label template for this. So the same screen that you saw before, where I can pick any number of any type of template. So I'll just keep it at 6 per page, and maybe I just want hidden. And again, I can pick QR codes or so forth, but I'm just going to leave it as such. So we'll see here that I actually now have this all available to me. So I can go back here and I can just hit print, and now in the same way before, I get that print ready PDF. So instead of going one by one, I can actually batch them all together, and now I can just feed the printer with the Avery label templates and be able to get all of those printed at one time and put them on. So a very quick way to kind of batch all of that together. So at any point in time, I can then just clear this if I no longer need it and go back to search. So again, I kind of did a science example, but if I wanted to, do another example, I could search for Varsol. So add Varsol to that. I could search for paint thinner. Add paint thinner to that, and I could search for, some kind of Prestone product. So that, and here, and again, I'm only doing 3, but I could, I could add as many as I want. And again, maybe this is all I need. I'm just gonna edit the template. So it remembers that I want hidden. Maybe this time I want the, the QR code added to these, and etc. So I could go back, and now I can hit print and be able to print those out. So again, just a quick way to be able to batch those labels. So some other things that you can do within the system. Obviously, those are the most important pieces. But I'm just going to go to WD-40 because I happen to know that this product has a couple of things. One, you'll see that there's both an English and a French version of the SDS. So if I go to WD-40, you'll see we have some additional buttons up here. So since I still have batch mode, I can still add that to the batch if I wanted. But if I wanted to view the French version of the SDS, I could click French. So I could flip back and forth. And we also archive all previous versions. So you'll see here that there's a March 27th, 2014 version of the WD-40 aerosol. So at any point in time, if you actually wanted to look at the older one, you can click on it. And what I always find interesting about WD-40 is originally, it was just marked as flammable, but obviously the newer one now has many more hazards that they've added to the latest SDS. So if you do have older product on the shelf, you can go back and look at some of the previous SDSs associated with it. Let's see here. Let's go back to search here. I'll just turn off the batch mode since we don't need to be batch label printing anymore. One thing that you may notice as time goes on, and this is predominantly because with WHMIS 2015, the WHMIS 2015 regulations, obviously everyone had to change their SDSs and so forth. And any product that is not WHMIS 2015 controlled, the supplier actually has, the manufacturer has the option to not provide an SDS. So although a lot of products, and this fits a lot with art products that are not WHMIS 2015 regulated, they would still provide SDSs, but a lot of manufacturers now are actually deciding not to provide an SDS for those products. So what we're doing in our system is if those products we come across those products and we don't have an SDS, we actually mark them as such. So if I actually, let's say I search for dextrose uh, as uh, as an example, and if I search, we'll see that we do have some in the system here, but if there are specific products that um, do not have an SDS, we will actually put that at the top. So you'll see here a note that potato dextrose powder and samarol dextrose agar are non-WHMIS regulated. So these happen to be two products that, although there is a dextrose SDS available from Boreal, you know, the Saburo dextrose agar product that Boreal carries, they will not provide an SDS for it. So they'll mark it in the system, so if someone searches for it, we at least let them know that this product is non-WHMIS regulated. So it is does not have an SDS associated with it. If there is one, though, in the system, we do not remove it. It will still stay there. And we may mark it as such, as non-WHMIS regulated, or if they didn't provide a WHMIS 2015 compliant version, there'll be a tag marked here that will state that it's still of MSDS format. So let's see, I'm not sure if there are any that I could find here. Maybe under visual arts, let's see what's under there. Yeah, so we'll see here, Children's Choice Liquid Tempura. So we'll see it's not WHMIS regulated, and it's still the old MSDS format. So when I actually click on it, you get the old version of the SDS, and you actually get the, as opposed to our custom view, you get the PDF version, because it is a non-standard version. The sections do not match the WHMIS 2015 regulations, or they're really just matching GHS of the different 16 sections and so forth. But again, those are still available to you to search and find. If ever there are products that you search for and you can't find, please just let Alex know. If you have a product that we don't have an SDS, just let Alex know, and we will get that into the system right away to make that available for you. So that really covers the main features and functions. Again, I know we probably don't just have teachers, we probably have custodial staff and so forth. So everything is in the system. So for example, if I wanted to search for Virex, sorry, we'll see that they're available there. If I wanted, you know, Oxavir, Oxavir, I could search for that. We'll see that's there. You know, something like Stride, again, I can search for that, and that will appear. You know, if I, for example, wanted to find everything by the manufacturer diversity, I could search for that, and I'd get all of those available. And again, you know, you can be very specific or very general. So if I just wanted to search, actually remove diversity, I just want to search for glue, we'll see that all the different kinds of glue that are available within the school board. So I could have searched for just glue, or if I knew I wanted, you know, Ross glue, I could have searched for Ross glue, and no get anything specific to Ross. You know, if I know I have a Lysol product, I could just type Lysol. Or if I just wanted to know all the different cleaners, I could search for cleaner and get those results here. So we'll see the Lysol products are listed here also. So again, obviously something like cleaner is much more generic. So the ordering, you know, there's going to be a lot of cleaners. They're all going to rank the same. So, you know, if you know you want Lysol cleaner, it'd be a lot better to go Lysol cleaner than just cleaner, because then you're going to get a much quicker response to be able to find it. So that really covers everything I wanted to go through in the system. So really the keys, just as a recap, are, you know, as you go to the Windsor Essex website. If you go to staff and then click the SDS link, you're immediately going to get to the search page, assuming you're coming from within the school board's network. And I would really think of it as a Google-like search. So you can type anything into the search SDS, be it a UN number, a CAS number, a manufacturer, a product name, part of a product name, use stars, quotes, whatever that you normally can use to be able to find it. If you don't happen to know exactly, but you wanted to, search for everything from 3M, it's a 3M product. Again, you can pick that and you'd get the different 3M products associated with it. So the advanced search lets you either narrow things down or look for more specific items. Any search you get, you can print or export those results. Every SDS that you go into, you have the ability to view the SDS, to print it, see the original, or use the labels button to print a label for it. And if you ever need a lot of labels that you're going to print for a lot of different products, the best thing to do is to turn on the label batch mode, which immediately adds this little plus label button here that you can search. And as you add items, you'll see the label batch up here gets added, so I can add as many as I want, and then I can go into label batch and select how many of each and edit the template and print that out. So those really are the keys to the product and the main functionality within the product. There are other functionality, but they're more for Alex and admins. There are different reports, and you can create users. As I said, if you need to log in outside of the network, Alex can create you a login that you can access the system from outside the Windsor Essex Catholic District School Board network. And really, that's it. So if there are questions, please type them in, and I will try to get through them. So I do see one here that say, are staff able to bring in Lysol wipes if they print a label? All right, so that's actually a question for Alex. So the question is, are staff able to bring in Lysol wipes if they print a label?
If they're approved by the board, yes.
So Alex says that if they are approved by the board, then they can be brought in. But if a product is not approved by board, it's not allowed to be brought in off the shelf. So that is Alex's response to that question.
We have to let us know.
Yeah. So what Alex is saying is let him know first. So if that is a product that you do want, if you can let Alex know, and he can then, I guess, approve that and allow it, and we can get the SDS into the system, and then it can be brought in, and yeah. So again, I think if you have any products that you cannot find within this system, do let Alex know, because we can get that SDS into the system. So just from a regulation perspective, the key is that you need to be able to have an SDS available to all staff and students for any products on school property. So if you do happen to bring on Lysol wipes or something that you brought in, it is still best to let Alex know. And then I would think something like Lysol wipes would be fine, and that would be allowed. But obviously, if it is a something that has a banned chemical or so forth, then that's something that would have to be removed. But again, it's just something Alex needs to know, and to be able to keep this system up to date with the SDSs, we really need your help. So any products that you have that are not in here, we do need to know about them so that we can get an SDS, and the whole school board can be compliant, so that if ever audited, there aren't any issues. So Alex, now you're being asked if you can approve Lysol wipes. So I will leave Alex to that one, and he can work with the school directly with that. And if approved, then Alex will let us know. We'll get that SDS into the system, and all is good. Yeah, yeah. So Alex says you need to review it first, and then once approved, it can be allowed, and we can get the SDS in the system. Okay. Do we have any other questions around searching for SDSs, printing labels, or anything else with that? Now, this training is being recorded, so I assume it will be made available somehow that everyone, okay, next week it'll be made available for anyone to be able to review. We also have some documentation that was made available that I believe you'll send out to the schools that just kind of goes over on paper in a PDF of the different search. Okay, so again, this is for you, Alex. The question is there an approved list of stains and glues for construction? Okay, so Alex says, okay, so Alex says that currently there isn't a list, but they need to review. So again, I'll leave that with Alex to work with the school, and if there are specific stains and glues, again, the key is if the health and safety group can review that and get them approved, then we can make sure the SDSs are in the system, and then if the school board's ever audited, everything's in compliance. So I'll leave that one also with you, Alex, to follow up with the school, with the specific school on that one. Okay, so the question is, if new things get added to the list, will schools be notified, or do staff have to check periodically? Okay, so right now the staff would need to check. That's something I can talk to Alex about. I mean, obviously we know when new things get added, so I can talk to Alex and we could come up with something. Yeah. So if that is something that you know, the schools would like, that is a service we can provide, because we do know when things get added into the system. We could you know, provide some kind of monthly or quarterly report with what new has been added. But I will take that offline with Alex, and we can discuss that. And if that's something the schools would like, absolutely, that's something we can do. Okay, so we'll wait a couple of minutes here, just see if there's any additional questions. So I do hope all the schools found this useful, and along with you know, the comment in regards to any products and SDSs, as you use this system, if you have any you know, future questions or things that you would like to see the system to do or work in certain ways, again, if you could let Alex know, as a company, you know, we're always looking to improve our system and add new features and functions and try to make it as easy to use as possible, and also just make you know, teachers and staff's life as easy as possible when it comes to things like, you know, having to deal with workplace labels and any kind of regulatory requirements. So you know, your feedback is always welcome, and really Alex is the conduit to us. So if you have features or functions or things that you would like to see within the system in particular, just let him know. You know, we're always looking for feedback and trying to improve our system and make it better and better. So I do hope that this was useful. And again, anything product related, feature function wise, or SDS related, if you ever need or cannot find something, again, Alex is the conduit, and him and I will work together to ensure we can get that into the system. So I haven't really seen any new questions come up, so I think we're all good.
That's right.
Excellent. Well, thank you, everyone. I appreciate your time, Again, I do hope this was useful. This was new for me in doing a live stream versus being in a room with people. It is actually very different. But I do hope it went well and was useful to you. So again, thank you very much for your time, and any future questions and so forth, don't hesitate to ask. Those can go through Alex, and we will get answers back to you as quickly as possible. So again, thank you very much, everyone.